Robert, start the opener, please.
Hang on, I'm just looking for it, Dave.
Robert, please start the opener.
Dave, I will in 1 second.
Robert,
Dave.
start the opener.
Dave, I just gotta find it. Hang on, what folder is it in?
Fans, and welcome back to another episode of Davey Mac's Tales from the Satellite.
Yes, you got it this time.
Today, we are talking about a story that occurs on Good Friday, where one man puts his body on the line for punishment as a sacrifice for the mistakes of all the people around him. You might think
You're
we're
either talking about Jesus?
You might think we're talking about Jesus, but actually, I'm talking about the co-host of this show, the one, the only, the star, Eastside Dave McDonald.
I mean, you said it, not me, Robert. You said it, not me. I died for Earl's sins that day. We're going to get to that right off the bat. But did you hear there was a little controversy?
I was going to say,
apparently?
It could not be more fitting because...
we planned this show out. We scheduled the 4 or 5 episodes. Yeah. So this episode was actually scheduled when I found out that I was on the Shizer list. On Friday.
But that's weird, Dave, because you do the Shizer list, so why would you put yourself on it?
I don't know. I am much calmer about it, though, this week. So, yeah, Earl apparently put me on the Shizer list. And, well, he took my Shizer list, which, you know, obviously we all know is one of the trademark patented bits of the Davey Mac sports program that started on DMSP about 10 years ago. Got transferred over to the Eastside Dave show, and it's going to remain, you know, back with me now that we're doing all new phenomenal Davey Mac Sports Program episodes live from the Dojo of Comedy in Morris Plains, New Jersey, by the way. The shows are awesome.
Yeah.
But
I thought when you were saying that it was a patented recurring thing that you meant Earl stealing other people's bits and claiming they were his own.
So on Friday, I got all these messages from people saying Earl's taking your bit and is shitting all over it and you in it. And I clicked on the video and I didn't know what was going on. And I took it very personally because I had no idea what Earl was talking about or why he was taking my bit and then why he was shitting on me. So I got very upset, but in a Davey Mac way.
Yeah.
That should also be pointed out as far as Eastside Dave reactions go, you know. This was just stereotypical stuff. I mean
honestly, that was
I'm
nicer
going to get fired up whether I'm working or shooting.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get fired up.
And that was nicer than a lot of the text you send me sometimes. So,
I think we're hopefully all good. So here's what I would suggest to Earl, though. If you're going to do something like that, remember Eastside Dave is actually really good at angles and working and doing fucking shit like that. So if you're going to do that, Earl, let me in on it. If you don't let me in on it, it feels like an attack. The other thing you need to do is, if you're going to steal the bid, Earl, do it properly.
Yeah, that's what bothered me.
You don't get entered in the Shizer list. Ain't the Sports Center top 10 where we're in and out of fucking highlights.
No, it's not Jay Leno's top 5.
What the Shizer list is a true moral segment about right and wrong. You bring out who you have a beef with, why you have a beef. You explain it properly. You set it up. And then once all the evidence is laid out onto the table, then and only then do you enter that person on the Shizer list. That's how you present it, Earl. But if you then don't execute my bit properly, again, it doesn't feel like a bit. It feels like an attack. And thirdly, Earl, if this was, cross promotion, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But you didn't plug any of my shows, did you, Earl? Did you mention the patreon.com/Eastside Dave show? Did you mention the Davey Mac Sports Program live at the Dojo of Comedy, Morris Plains, New Jersey? Did you mention the fastest rising adult-rated Star Wars podcast in Yaddle Chattel? Or the fact that the Eastside Dave and Son Wrestling Show has been nationally syndicated by Beasley Media and is on 70 radio stations across America? Or that for the last 10 years, you can hear me on WRAT 95.9 FM, one of the biggest rock stations in America, where we've been number one for 32 books in a row. That means 8 years of being number one. Did you promote or plug any of those things? The answer to those questions, Earl, was no, 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 no. As a result, when you can't do things well, don't expect the other person on the receiving end to understand it's a joke. I didn't get a text from, or I didn't get anything from Chris Stanley, and I didn't get anything from Earl. And someone could have at least said, we're doing an angle, we're cross-promote. But in order to cross-promote, what has to happen?
There has to be cross-promotion.
Was my show promoted by Earl?
No.
Did Earl Douglas promote anything that, has he talked about Tales from the Satellite on Sirius XM?
No.
Has he talked about Davey Mac Sports Program on XM?
No.
So there is no cross promotion. Instead, it just looks like you're shitting on Eastside Dave, who I'm really trying to get the word out that we're doing a lot of exciting stuff. That's why I was upset. As you can see, I'm calm today.
Yeah.
I'm happy today, Daddy. Look, I said it on the Davey Mac Sports Program. I'm not going to go into it in a hardcore fashion. I have real life stuff going on. I don't want a fiddle playing for me. I don't want sympathy. I want it to be understood, Earl, that the reason why I don't do a lot of the wrestling feuds anymore for radio is because I'm not interested. I'm usually bored by them. Now, I can get up for an Earl Douglas feud because obviously, do I still have the fire in me when that guy fucking tries to push my buttons? The answer to that goddamn question is a resounding yes. Obviously, even though I'm in a great, more passive, happy, creative, and cordial mood these days, if I feel like the Earl Dougie is fucking with me, then yes, I'm going to bring the pain. What else was Earl expecting? Having said that, I think we're in a good spot.
I got to be honest. The only thing I can critique you on there is you said you can't expect somebody to just pick up the ball and carry it for you if you don't communicate. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I think you shot yourself in the foot because Earl has gotten used to you just picking up the ball with whatever he was doing and saving him, as we're going to find out in this episode.
Okay, I thought you were about to disagree with any of my viewpoints, and I swear to God, I was going to hop over this table and fucking strangle you with this cord. Okay, we were going to have a fucking murder, and then the only thing about that was I would have to figure out how to fucking upload all this shit and do the pushing the buttons and get this seen on patreon.com/eastside. But am I wrong about that?
No, you're 100% correct. You need to reach out.
I feel like on Friday, I got a little bit it was surprising to me that, no one likes to get a whole bunch of messages from people. And I got a lot saying, Earl's fucking with you. Why is Earl shitting on you? Why is this? Why is that? So it wasn't just me. It was a lot of people not knowing what was going on because, again, Earl's ineptitude at basic radio 101, setting things up, making something out of something, and then giving, your big punchline. So I still don't know what I get. I don't know. Part of me thinks he was fucking with me, but then the other part of me thinks he was trying to cross promote me, but he didn't promote the show. See? Am I wrong about this?
You're not wrong. I don't know. I can't clarify. All I can say is the one thing
really
I'm certain of is regardless of whatever he was attempting to do, it kind of missed the mark. We aren't sure if he's mad or if he was trying to help. So that's the only thing I know
Earl,
for sure.
You're so bad at what you do. We don't know if you're mad at us for real or you're trying to help us. Do you understand that means that you just didn't think it out, Earl? Come on, man.
I think we've
And I know he's not making these videos. I guess Chris, because I know Chris does a lot of the little emojis and the effects and things like that. Doesn't Chris understand? I mean, he knows very well how the Shizer list is done. So he needed to step in, maybe. I'm not trying. I love Pepper.
Yeah, he should have helped.
Not trying, but maybe it's like, hey, Earl, do you realize you're just shitting on this guy? That there's nothing fun on his end. See, look at it from my perspective.
I don't
Is there
think
anything
Pepper...
fun on my end? I'm leaving my #1 hit morning radio show at 10 o'clock in the morning with all these messages, and where's the fun part for me? Now, if Earl had said, here's how you do it, Earl. If Earl had said, hey, Davey Mac, I just listened to Davey Mac's Tales from the Satellite, episode 2, and you were talking about me. You're still talking about how I cut up my food or how I screw up on the air. Huh? You're going to use that show, Davey Mac's Tales from the Satellite, to talk shit about me? Well, fuck you, Dave. You know I created the Shizer list. And bam. But did he do those really important 2 or 3 sentences of why he's putting me on the Shizer list?
Gee, Dave, I'm sorry I didn't do those sentences. I had to stop at the Brooklyn Bridge to take some pictures. So it can't be
cross-promotion if you're not promoting us. It's just you shitting on us, Earl. Does that make sense, Earl? So I'm in the right. At first I felt, I'm not that person anymore. No. I like to get fired up about this shit that I'm into. Like, I want to get fired up about sports and Star Wars and wrestling and all kinds of shit because I got too much content to create, and I am creating all kinds of content and kicking ass.
In every way.
So the drama doesn't really get me excited unless I guess it's real.
Yeah.
Like Shizer list entries that I do now on the DMSP are real, but that's because I usually put athletes or announcers that I dislike on them.
Yeah.
So it's coming from a real point. I'm not using it to do other radio people.
And like you said, you put it out there, you present it, you weigh it like judge, jury, and then if
needed,
you put them on the Shizer.
It's just a way of doing shit.
I've seen you get to that point and change your opinion and go, oh, you know what? Actually, I misthought about this. You know what? You're not on the Shizer list, and I've seen you take people off. I also haven't seen you come out with 5 people that you're putting on for some reason, like your goddamn Jay Leno.
Yeah, I don't know why
that
he
really
was
bothered
rapid
me.
fire Shizer. That ain't the way the Shizer works. So now you're fucking up the bit, Earl. On top of ripping it off,
we are.
But here's the thing. I want to be happy, Robert. I am happy. I'm doing things. The East Side Empire has never been bigger and honestly more productive and successful. On top of all those shows that we're doing, I'm doing fucking professional wrestling. We're the 95.9 The Rats, the only radio station that's actually having original wrestling videos that me and Roy Harder announce. There's no time for drama.
No, especially now that we have a live audience coming to the Davey Mac Sports program.
And I love this show, Earl, because I guess he was mad at me for making fun of the fact that he cuts Snickers up into pieces and or that he orders hash browns with spaghetti at the #1 steakhouse in Washington, D.C.
Oh, I don't think we even brought those up. A place where
fucking James Carville and Mary Matlin and all those fucking D.C. heads go to. The best steakhouse in Washington, D.C. is what Ron and Fez and me and Earl went to in 2006, and he ordered hash browns and spaghetti. At a steakhouse, at a fucking famous steakhouse in Washington, D.C. that the president goes to have his 2 martinis. And you order a steakhouse. You ordered no meat. He's not a vegetarian. He eats meat.
Yeah.
So
not chicken.
The guy
not
eats
chicken
meat.
in public, but he does eat meat.
Hash browns and spaghetti. Come on. So if he was getting mad at that stuff, well, that's crazy. Because the object of this show is more of a sentimental, nostalgic, happy look. This is a rose-colored glasses look back on my almost 10 years at Sirius XM with Ron and Fez, O&A. That's Opie and Anthony. Special delivery starring Sam and Dave. Mm-hmm. And the Davey Mac Sports Program XL.
That's because Chris Pepper was there.
3 appearances on the Cousin Brucey show.
Ooh, look at you. But we've unfortunately let Earl do what he does most of the time with his radio career, which is derail the show, and make it about him and his failure.
I just wanted to get that off my chest because it was a current mild controversy that wasn't, and even on the Davey Mac Sports Program, I wasn't, super duper mad. I went when that show aired on Sunday.
No.
I had calmed down and felt like, okay, we're just gonna have fun. But if
You
he's
would kind of-
wondering why I was why that one tweet
I don't think
came out on Friday of Earl's the least creative person of all time, that was the original, shooting Dave, because he didn't explain to me why he was basically ridiculing me in public. There was no crossover promotion. There was nothing to help me.
And again, it all comes down to communication. And
Communicate.
I think
Just let me say one last thing.
okay. It is your show.
I've been doing this now, getting paid. This is my 20th year. Started getting paid by 90.5 The Night, an NPR affiliate, in 2003.
95.9 The Night.
90.5 The Night.
90.5.
90.5 The Night. Started doing overnight radio in 2003. Okay? Mm-hmm. I know how to do angles.
I've been doing this since I'm 15.
No, but there's still a lack of trust with Earl in that he doesn't think I'll work with him or do an angle or this or that. I got one final message. Earl, I'm a zillion times better at this than you are. I'm not even trying to be a dick. I'm not saying that with anger. I am literally a zillion times better than this than you. If there's someone who shouldn't trust the other person about how to pull off an angle, it's me maybe not trusting you how to pull off an angle, because you're inept a lot of the times. See the first 2 minutes of this show and what you did with the Shizer list. Me, you can trust. Okay? I have an established record of being able to pull off angles and bits. So next time, maybe give me a heads up rather than letting me be surprised by a whole bunch of text messages. Hey, Davey Mack, Earl Douglas is just really fucking your ass.
Yeah.
That's what I got. That's what set me off. How could it not?
Yeah.
For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. Unless you're talking about Earl Douglas and Davey Mack,
I think
and then
Einstein
the reaction is
said
going to
that.
be 50 times more severe than Earl's original action.
I think that's Einstein's equation, and he's going to come up in
Can't
this,
be a
believe it or
surprise,
not.
though, that I got fucking fired up.
No, and honestly, what we're about to hear, you have way more retribution due before Earl has any room to say anything. But one thing I want to address from the Earl Shizer list.
I want to put that to bed. My goal is after this episode, I would like to put whatever this new modern Earl Davey Mack feud is, I'd like to put it to bed, unless, he has more stuff to say. But if he does, then invite me to the studio.
To talk there,
don't
yeah.
say it.
Make it a level
Don't
playing
do a
field.
one-sided thing. Let's talk.
Yeah,
Let's talk in person.
You're not bashing Earl in front of your live audience at the Dojo of Comedy every Sunday. You know what I mean? He shouldn't do it on air in studio.
I did last Sunday.
But
I bashed
as a
Earl.
response to Earl bashing you. I'm saying you're not just
I
starting
was
this.
gonna
Yeah.
have to say you're inaccurate with that statement.
Well,
Last
then
Sunday,
I'd be
I
an
did.
Earl Douglas, wouldn't I? No, I
So
agree.
I want to be. I would like this to be a happy resolution. Unless he wants more smoke, then invite me to the studio if you want more smoke. But don't. I can't. If the guy can't fight back and or you're not going to truly cross promote, then
Honestly,
what's actually going on except you shitting on me, Earl?
Honestly, at this point, Dave,
Well, the way you look at it.
you remember Hit 'Em Up by Tupac, where he did the Biggie diss track? That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. He
Yeah.
does one verse, and then he goes, I'm going to let my little homies ride on you because I'm so much better than you. I think that's the point we're at. We might let Bobo go after Earl because he could take him down. But,
Bobo's a lot quicker than you think, Earl.
Oh,
he'll hammer you with some one-liners. That's true. If I'm not allowed back in Sirius XM, why don't I send Big A Andrew Gold with a whole bunch of written fucking? I'll write him 15 one-liners.
Yeah, or, you could send in your
I'm
Kobe.
doing that. Remind me.
I will after this.
No, I
All
mean
right.
like old school. I used to write for Big A Andrew Gold for
Honestly.
on the old Ron and Fez show there.
That comes up in this because you are writing for Lily at one point. And Big A, they go, hey, Big A, it's like you're doing Big A all over again, Dave. And Big A, you got anything else to say? And he goes, no, I'm out of note cards. But one thing I want to
I'm out of no cards.
one thing I thought it was really funny Earl accused you of is he was like, just do an original bit, Davey Mack, as he's stealing your bit. because that comes up later in the story. So as we get into
Again, so as I just look back on it, I guess he was trying to joke around. But again, Earl is such either a bad joke teller or just forgot a lot of important steps and details. So that's why it was like the initial insanity that I did possess for real wore off by Friday evening.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, by
I
the time
gotta then talk
we
about it on the
talked-
DMSP, but it was a fun thing.
Yeah, it was all good.
Go check out that episode. Sports Robot did a bit, and we had a seance, and that's all I'll say. Well, Earl's dead grandmother.
Yeah, come on.
Made her first reappearance in God knows how long.
Yeah, since we've been at the dojo, so at least 2 months. But,
Shoot! So what do you got for me?
It
So
is-
today's episode is about...
Earl choking you
It's the choking incident.
on
Earl choked me on the air.
on air. So
Amazing.
we got to set the scene
Please.
because it seems like this is the second story we've done now where one member of the Ron and Fez crew is missing and everything is out of whack.
Uh-oh.
Last time it was Earl was on IR, remember? And then you ended up smashing Fez's face.
With pizza?
With pizza, yeah. You were just, yeah.
Smashing Fez's face could mean so many different things.
Yeah.
Could also mean sex.
I
that
wasn't
was
going
face
there.
fucking. Well, the kids like to say smash. I'd like to smash her. At least that's what Paulie and Vinny and JWoww used to say. I don't know if they still say that anymore. But I remember fucking Snooki being like, "Oh, I'd like to smash that big lifeguard."
She
So
would
I
smash
believe
a
that
doorknob.
meant fuck.
Okay.
In back in the Jersey Shore days.
And we are pretty close. So anyway,
We are on the Jersey Shore.
It's Good Friday.
Huh? Today?
No.
Jesus
In the
Christ.
story we're talking about,
Oh.
Good Friday, you're sitting there. Earl's there. At this point, the production staff is Earl, Pitts, you, and then I believe the interns are Lily and Pepper.
Wow.
Does that seem plausible
That's
time-wise?
that's the team.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So that's
That
who
was
we
a
were
good
working
team
with.
right there. Bronx Johnny was probably off that day, but I believe he was an intern at that time.
And
so and was this time around the 92.3 K-Rock show?
It was very similar. Yes.
Because I remember
Johnny-
all those specific people bringing all the stuff in with the bins
And
from SiriusXM
absolutely.
to
And
92.3.
Johnny was off that day because he calls in.
There you go.
So you are absolutely right.
That's
good
a good
memory, Dave.
That's a goddamn good team right there.
Honestly.
God bless them all, each and every one, including you, Earl Douglas.
That's like
We might be feuding now, dog, but one day we're gonna be friends.
Do you remember when the Detroit Pistons starting five was the All-Star teams lineup at one point? That is the production staff you had at that point. All of those
That
people
never
are very
happened.
solid. Yeah, they had 4 of the 5 people on the court for the All-Star game. It was
Isaiah, Joe Dumars.
no. You're thinking way too early. I'm talking Rashid, Ben,
Oh, fuck
Rip.
that team. Yeah, well, look back at that. What a goddamn joke that was.
Sorry, I gave you a compliment. I was
No,
trying.
no,
I was
no,
trying to be
but
like,
I-
you guys were great.
I'm just talking about the 2004 Detroit Pistons as
You're
opposed
right,
to
Rob.
the Bad Boys.
You're right, Rob. We were great, but that metaphor sucked. That was a real early
I just
for it.
mean, what team are you? You know what? This is a
Yeah,
DMSP
yeah,
topic.
that's a different one.
But you
You're
know what?
absolutely right.
I
Bad
like
Boys were better.
Rip Hamilton and Rasheed Wallace and who was Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey.
But come on,
I like
Isaiah,
Ben.
Joe Dumars, Lambeer,
Yeah.
Rodman.
It's hard to argue with that.
Come on.
Either way, great crew. And but Feds faked a heart attack, as Ron points out a number of times. Basically, he thought he was having a heart attack. They went and
When?
went up his thigh a week prior.
Okay.
So he's been out this whole week.
I wouldn't say faked. I would say
No. Ron says faked
Oh, okay.
the entire time. He keeps going, "Hey Fez, you healing from your fake heart attack?"
He'd say he had something.
So
probably.
then, yeah, he says
wasn't
that
feeling well.
They went up and put a stent in, I think,
Okay.
through his, but he wasn't having a heart attack. Everything's okay. Fez is
Yeah.
okay, but he's not there. And Ron is talking to Deb, ironically enough, about people forcing themselves into a story. And then he goes, "What, Dave?" And you go, I'm sorry. There's so much banging going on. I can't focus. Earl and Lily are fighting.
Banging.
Yeah, banging and screaming.
This is great.
And
I love this. This is exciting.
Ron,
Now Lily, of course, she went on to do radio in Rochester.
Oh,
now
and-
I believe is a chef.
ooh,
Did you know that?
that's usually how a successful radio career goes.
Oh, shit,
Rochester
Robert.
into chef. but-
Jesus, that's coming from Bobby, Lily. I'm not signing up for any more feuds. I got Earl Douglas, and that's it.
We'll
That's
get
my
into-
one and only feud that I might try to stick to for the rest of my career, as I intend to get along with folks these days. Yes.
But It is. So we'll get into Lily in a little bit because she comes up and is
come on.
Earl actually
Keep it classy here.
Earl says one of my favorite lines of all time to Lily.
What?
At one point, we'll get into it in a minute, but basically you go, Ron, I can't focus. They're yelling and screaming between Lily and Earl, and Ron, clearly fed up, goes, Earl, get in here. What is going on? And Earl comes in a tizzy. You know when you can hear Earl's worked up and he can't really form a full sentence. He's kind of not stuttering.
He breathes very heavily, too.
Yeah, you hear.
Yeah, a lot of breathing. A lot of big-time breathing.
I'm just trying to find something my way. They won't let me look my way. And you're like, but I'm trying to listen to Ron talk, Earl. We can't have you screaming back there. And then Earl freaks out.
Am I in the booth?
You are in the studio with Deb and Ron at this point.
You.
Happy typing girl.
Thank you.
They do refer to her as Deb several times.
No, I just want to know where I was.
Yeah, you were in the room with them, and you could hear it through
Must
your
have
headphones.
been very loud, but not impossible. While that was soundproof glass, I swear to God, it was the loudest soundproof glass ever that sometimes you would hear thumping. And I think it was like Earl like hitting the glass or some shit. It was
and I think
crazy.
you may have even used the exact words thumping. I hear a lot of thumping back there. I said banging, but yeah. And you said you could hear it through the headphones. So you have headphones, soundproof glass, and Earl screaming and banging enough that you can hear it.
Yeah.
So he comes in the room. But before we get into that, we have to go back to really understand where this tension's coming from.
Going back in time. Hey, going back in time.
You need Roy here for that.
What artist?
Backstreet Boys.
Huey Lewis. Back to the Future.
Oh, my bad. Going back in time. All right, I got you now. Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
All right, yeah.
Just continue.
So we have to go back to your first on-air fight with Earl.
Okay.
Do you remember what caused it?
No. But we had a lot of fights. There were a lot of saltine cracker controversies. Sometimes I would get a little hungry and some of his saltines would go missing.
No.
He would always suspect me.
Sometimes you were in the wrong, Dave. This, you weren't. And it literally,
I know what it was.
The argument ends with...
I know what it is.
Okay.
Is it the Earl taping shit in Opie and Anthony's office? Or over, they were taping something and Earl was watching the Yankee game.
Okay, so yes, that technically would probably be the first time you guys fought on air. This was a fight that happened in the background that spilled over onto air that we considered, but when you finished it, Fez
well, just for the
goes,
record, all these years later, so that mystery can be solved right here, right now. That's what people are listening to Davey Max Tales from Sally for. Earl 100% taped over the Opie. It was either the Oscars or the Emmys.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Grammys.
It was the Grammys,
But
and he went to the Yankee game.
He liked to watch TV in their studio because it had a couch and a big TV, so he could lay down on the couch and watch the flat screen. And obviously, when that happened, it ended up taping the Yankee game.
Yeah.
And they tried to blame it on me or say, I don't know what happened.
And you were too good of a guy to throw him under the bus initially,
And
so he got away for a while.
Of course, it was all him.
Yeah, yeah. Dave, you're not
even though I was
anything.
hired as a producer, and Jim Norton said, "Do you think it was that tall, redheaded, weird intern?"
Yes.
And I was so upset, Bobby. I feel like that would have been like a moment that that's like a Bobby Tamburo soul getting crushed moment where like I could see you being upset by that. I was upset by it where I had gotten to be a producer at Sirius XM. Yeah. And the fact that Norton thought I was an intern upset me so much.
100% that is a Bobby Tamburo heartbreak moment. Yeah.
Worse than the fact that I'm mistakenly getting pinned.
Yeah, exactly, for ruining the O&A
committing
show.
some kind of radio crime. It was the mistitling
that they thought you were an intern.
Daveman.
I know how that goes.
Oh, I'm not an intern.
I tried so hard.
I know.
But every motherfucking time they get something going, the motherfucking telephones keep on blowing up. The phone bank was blowing up. On and off. On and off. Mars comes in, goes, Dave, can you please play the song to let people know so I can get some time to fix these phones?
Gotcha. Yeah, we had the phones are breaking
Paranoid song. Yeah.
Paranoid.
And we'll probably throw it in right here. Okay, maybe. If we don't, no worries. We'll see what happens.
Go for
in
it.
post.
I
If
like
we have
it.
time, no worries.
Yeah.
Someone needs to fix these phones so Ron and Fez can do their show. Every fucking time they get something good going, the motherfucking telephones keep on blowing up. Every fucking time they get something good going, the motherfucking telephones keep on blowing up. Why won't Wicked fix the telephones? Why won't Wicked? Why won't Wicked? How can you callers calling in. How can you give out a big ass prize to losers like me who have no life? The Ron and Fez Show on XM Radio. Ron and Fez Show on XM Radio. Fez Show 202, channel 202. Every fucking time they get something good going.
But so Earl won't play the song because the phones occasionally will come back on, and he doesn't want Ron to see the phones on and then think they're off, or vice versa or something. And the reality is he just doesn't want to get yelled at because he thinks he's going to get blamed for the phones being broken.
Yeah, now, which is not his fault.
So
to defend him.
No, it's not. But you even tell them that. You go, they're not going to be mad at you. They know it's not your fault. They just need to know that the phones aren't working, so they don't keep going, what's going on?
In the dark.
And then
I feel like he had a little bit of a Nixon administration in him. He was kind of a Bob Haldeman.
And let's be honest,
an Ehrlichman, if you will. Or is it Bob Ehrlichman? Whoever. Those guys are, let's keep it in the dark. Keep everyone in the dark.
You are 100% a keep it on air guy. And even, you know who you learned that from?
They're going to find out. So what's the point?
More importantly, you know who you learned that from? Ronnie B. It comes up in this fight because you go, Earl, I defend you so much. And he goes, you never defend me on air. And you go, I don't mean defend you on air. I mean, I don't tell things or say things that I know about you that could ruin you.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I mean, if I told of all the fuck-ups, it would have been just me having a 45-minute post-show meeting every day listing the, 1,001 fuck-ups.
It'd almost be like you could keep a log of all the lies that Earl told. That'd be crazy. But you come in, you go, Ron goes, what's going on? I can't have fighting in the background. And you go, he won't change the phones. He freaks out. And then Earl plays the song every time you keep saying he won't play the song really loud. And it really irritates you. And it gets to the point where you guys are standing toe to toe, like ready to go to blows. Earl pinches you and shoves you, and you go, you grab me.
Pinches me?
Yeah, because you get real close. You're doing that thing where you get a little too close because Earl has a thing with personal space, and you're invading it. And it gets so bad, Master Poe has to come stand between you guys.
That's right.
But in your defense, at first you refuse. You just take it because Ron and Fez love the phones being ready, and it's a running thing. Even going back to when they were in DC and WNEW before, the phone screener had to be good. That's how you
phones to work.
That's how you worked your way up, right?
It's hard.
You were a good phone screener. You could become a producer and go from there. Billy Staples is probably the perfect example.
Sure.
But you got a beating for the phones not being on, and you didn't say anything about Earl not playing the song. You just took it and were like, you know what? That's okay. And that's truly what I love about you, Dave. As much as you try to play the heel, deep down you're a good guy.
So you're saying what happened was I ended up getting scolded
the show's
because
going
of
on.
Earl?
The show's going on. Ron says a couple of comments.
Do you see why? Do you see why sometimes I have a very short fuse for your antics? I took a bullet for you.
So Ron
what
goes,
year is this?
May 15th. I can give you the exact date.
I want it.
Give me 1 second to pull it up.
Because I want to calculate how long I've been taking bullets for this son of a bitch.
But
I
so
mean, he
Ron
didn't
yells
play
at
the
you.
song.
He's like, "Why, Dave? You got to get these phones better, buddy, or something." And just several times throughout the show, and then the third time is when you start yelling at Earl in the back, "Play the goddamn song!" And then it comes out on air, and it would have been 2006.
2006.
May 11th.
Jesus Christ! 17 years ago. God. Unbelievable. Here we are, all these years later. That's changed.
It's in 6th grade.
But it's okay. So I took the bullet. So I'm a stand-up classy guy.
Yeah, eventually.
I mean, that's all I've been trying to tell people for the last 15 years. I'm one of, if not the most classiest, humble people on the planet Earth. I would say.
Oh, I would say in the
Number
universe.
one.
Probably in the universe.
Number 1 or 2 most humble. But anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. No arguments here.
Yeah.
The most.
Yeah.
But it's like the 4th time. At a certain point, it's taking away from the show. Them keep yelling at you for the phone. So you yell at Earl, play the song. It comes out on air. Ron brings him in and goes, he's your executive producer, Dave. You got to listen to him. And you go, I tried. I cover for him. And Ron goes, what do you mean you cover for him? And you go, I could tell you guys stuff. I'll tell you off air. I don't want to get Earl in trouble with, big time. And Ron goes, no, it happens on air or nothing. And you go, I don't want to bring it up then. Because again,
shit.
You're being a good guy. Whatever it is, you're keeping. Yeah. It's so bad that you're keeping Earl out of trouble.
I know. What a mistake. I should have dimed him out on the air. It would have been fantastic.
You keep going, and part of the issue you bring up is that Earl can't find the song.
He was bad at looking up things because we had this system called Delete. And as far as I know, I've never seen another radio station use it anywhere. And I don't even think XM or Sirius uses it anymore. It was just an XM thing. And I don't know how the hell they found this goddamn computer system, but
I'm guessing it was the cheapest based on all the issues it came with.
It's like wouldn't know how to search, like basic searching methods.
And this really
type in shit like specifically band, song. Then you'll find the song in a second and a half, and it goes on the air. But instead. Like, you ask Earl, can you find this, find this Let It Be? I shit you not. Earl would enter the Beatles. And then what would happen is he's scrolling through 2,000 goddamn Beatles songs in Delete. So I'm telling his ass, look up fucking Let It Be. The Beatles. Very similar to Google. And then the song will pop up instantly, and it'll be on the air. Everyone will be happy.
Makes sense. And it seems like through the
simple advice, he wouldn't take it because I was his quote-unquote underling.
Because you came up with it.
In title only.
Just like you told him to play the phone song, so he wouldn't play the phone song. Anytime you have an idea, he shut it down.
One of those types, huh?
But it seems like the issue Earl had is he wanted everybody to do things by a system he came up with so he could be the best at it. And that kind of came out a little bit on air. It's hard to explain like how the system works, but what Earl wanted was you would label the song the subject dash the title dash the artist, and then you would put it in a folder. Was it a parody song? Was it an original about a topic?
Jesus Christ!
Like, was
all
it a
of these
bit or
things.
drop?
You didn't need it.
And
didn't need to do it. You could have put. It worked like Google. You could have put
and Braun
in
even
Perry,
says that.
And you could have put in phone. Perry space phone. And Paranoid, the song fucking phone, would have come up in 3 seconds. But instead, he's got hyphens and dashes and alphabetical orders and the Dewey Decimal fucking system. And you just Perry space phone. The song would have come up.
Yes.
Come on, man.
There was even something that says contains. So the song that sets off the whole fight that he was searching for was a Fred dash cunt. Because Fred from Brooklyn said cunt a bunch. Somebody mixed it into a song, and they were looking for it, and he couldn't find it. And literally you said, just the key word there, Earl, is cunt.
Cunt is a word that you're going to find
with
pretty quickly. There's not going to be a lot of selection of songs in Delete with cunt.
Exactly.
So, even if you didn't write Fred space cunt, if you just wrote cunt, you'd probably get it. If you wrote Fred space cunt, you get it in a second.
In a heartbeat. Exactly. And
what happened? Now I'm fired up again.
So that's all kind of comes out. You guys worked the system, so it came up your way. You say during the fight, you taught all the people we just mentioned who were part of the staff how to search that way. Did you and Fez come up with this system? Did you just learn it on your own?
Bro, you know how to work Google? This ain't a goddamn system. I told the interns, it's like Google. Look up shit like Google. You can look up almost anything and get to the song in 3 seconds if you look up with the best 2 words. Cunt and Fred, you're going to get the song.
It's going to show up.
There ain't no other songs. The Rolling Stones don't have a sympathy for the cunt and devil Fred.
And they're the 2 classic football coaches, Tom Landry and who?
Lombardi?
Yeah, one guy.
I mean, says
one
you.
Guy
I mean, where's the love for Bill Walsh?
But I'm using this as a metaphor, Dave, because I feel like Earl...
Chuck Noll left out in the dust.
Earl was like the one who wanted to have his entire playbook. He wanted to watch 1 million hours worth of film, know his exact game plan going in. You're the guy who shows up and goes, I'm a better coach than you. I'm going to figure it out during the game. You would just come up with something to get it done.
I was Brian Dable, and Earl was Joe Judge.
Okay, much better.
To put it into modern-day Giants terms.
Perfect, thank you. Great example. You're just a good coach. You're going to, whatever you see on the field, you're going to figure out based on your abilities and experience.
I invented this phrase a few years ago. At the exact same time, I invented the Shizer list. Work harder, not
No.
Work smarter,
not harder.
Not harder.
Yeah. And Earl seems to think this is scatterbrainness, but it's not, because I've worked with you, and you are not scatterbrained. It's the exact opposite that becomes an issue. You're so detail-focused that you're like, don't forget this thing, don't forget that thing,
You know
don't
what
forget this
Fez
thing.
Watley used to say about me, Robert?
They call you
The
Mr.
number
Details?
one cleanest desk in the office belonged to me.
Earl would say
Now
that's
that would surprise motherfuckers, wouldn't it? But the number one cleanest, most organized workspace in the Ron and Fez office belonged to me. Whether it was Pitsy, Pepper, me, Earl, and even Fez himself, he said, your space is always meticulous. I said,
Well, Earl had to organize all his food. Let's give him some
said,
slack.
failing to prepare is preparing to fail.
I thought you said clear eyes, full heart, can't lose.
Either way. So we're ripping off a lot of sports coaches.
But
John Wooden said that thing, I think. The preparation line. Go ahead.
So back to just wrapping up the first fight. The first fight ends with Fez going, just so you know, Dave, you were right. You should have listened to your producer, but you made the right call. I
was right.
And that
I knew
is
it.
how the first fight ends. And
I was right. You know, just listen. I'm trying to help. You know why? Because if things are going well, then everyone's happy. Trust me when I tell you, I would prefer a nice, happy, fun show than a me Earl rivalry, because after the fun show where everything was working and all the songs were played and the phones didn't break and everyone's excited, everyone's happy. Then we have pizza, we have milkshakes at the diner, but if things go sideways, if things go sideways and they suck, and then it's me and Earl, yeah, I mean, it might make for interesting radio at times.
yeah,
But people aren't happy.
exactly. And even this, it didn't end with physical violence. Like, it clearly ended with it being a bit like Ron being, should we fire Dave? Do you think there's any hope for him, Earl? And Earl going, no, there's definitely hope. And Fez being like, no, he's my guy. He's Team Watley. It became a bit.
Earl said, don't fire me.
Yes.
What a mistake. What a mistake, Earl Douglas.
So, no violence there. The first time you and Earl actually get violent isn't the choking. Do you remember what it was? You read his emails.
No. I did not. I don't remember reading his emails.
Earl would leave his emails open, so you read about his date with a girl. You wanted to see
yeah,
how something
well, you
was
gotta
going.
do
Yeah,
that.
of course. If somebody leaves their emails open, you brought it to the air. The issue that they really had. This is a whole different. This is a whole different story.
You know what they used to call me? DMZ. Davey Mac Zone, but it was like a play on TMZ.
TMZ. Okay. Yeah. I get that.
And DMZ is going to find out the fucking juicy gossip, Daddy. And if you leave your Facebook open, your emails unopened, oh, baby, what am I supposed to do? I got to read it.
And honestly, I think you would. This is probably a whole nother episode, the reading the emails, but Earl's like me in the sense that he might need pushed into something in a relation. Like, he may be too much of a pansy to make a move, and you've seen me like that, and you've pushed me into situations that I appreciate. So it may have been you doing him a favor. But Ron, as a kind of get Dave out of trouble, lets Earl slap you. And that's the first time we see the violence, and it's clearly planned. Like, it's clearly like it's a work. You know what I mean? There's no like, Earl got so angry he slapped Dave.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a work. At the same time,
You
I'm
may have
sure
shot yourself
I'm
into
sure
it.
I took a slap for real.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You
The
know?
slap itself was a short.
Like, yeah,
but
the
bit was
slap was real.
A plan, yeah, exactly. So that's the first
So
time we see
he still
violence.
was allowed to slap me. I mean,
But it was
that's a generous act on my part. No.
Oh, 100%.
Thank you.
You're again willing to put your body on the line. So we're there. Deb, Ron talking. Deb, leading into this story about inserting yourself into a movie, is talking about true love. This is where the answer. She wants to know what true love is, and she's explaining it. And before she can do that, Ron goes, I hate when people interject themselves into a story like that. You hear the thumping. Earl comes in the room, goes, they won't let me search my way.
I mean, the timing of that.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those things that happens so often with this show.
Yeah.
With such brilliant hosts like Ron and Fez, where you don't know. It feels like a work because it's so perfectly
that
set up.
definitely happened organically.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
it is so perfect.
Yeah,
Like,
that
and
was,
Ron,
that was a total coincidence.
I'm sure you were acting like kept looking over your shoulder or something, and Ron let it there to go into that or something. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Because he's why we're
Possibly,
off
but go ahead.
So Earl comes in, explains that he can't find the song and that they won't let him search, and everybody's
Won't
like,
let him search. Like, we put his hands
Search
behind his back.
his way. And Ron
Search
goes,
his way. You mean the shitty way?
Ron goes, there is no your way, Earl. Everybody's on a system. You have to search with the system. And
The system, yeah. I mean, the system that Earl refused to learn was the common sense system, rather than writing out a bunch of hashes and dots like it was Morse code. See, in order to look up a song in Delete, you had to have like a band and like a song title, not dashes and dats, or dashes and dots, which is really how you communicate like more on the submarine. But Delete wasn't underwater at all. It was just a computer
system. You don't need it underwater.
Right. So I don't know why all these dashes were necessary.
Might have worked better underwater, but Earl wasn't even searching though. He's looking in the folder, like he's manually going through the files because he's got the folder. Like
he's got actual folders out, like pieces of paper.
Yeah, almost like that.
I think I see it.
Exactly.
I think it's coming up. Hold on.
Page number 132, 134. All right.
Go ahead.
So Ron tries to just move on, right? He goes, Earl,
Move on.
Like any good manager in baseball, like the diamond you drew back here. He goes, Earl, he calls for a shift. And he goes, Earl, you sit over there. And he puts him in the corner in a chair just facing the wall. Makes him sit there and tries to move on. And as he does, you're explaining why he was thumping. And Earl just keeps shouting about, they won't let me fucking start. Till he becomes a part
he's
of
crazy
it again.
sometimes.
Yeah,
he
gets
flies
fired
off
up.
the handle.
And,
I guess so do I.
Everybody does in radio, I think, sometimes. But
We seem to have more explosions.
Ron?
But see, I feel like mine are contained these days until this last Earl Douglas mishap. I contained it for a good 10 years. Go ahead.
Ron in the fight brings in Pepper. And
Chris Pepper Stanley,
someone I respect, one of the best producers still working in the game, because you're a host
Sometimes he gives you notes, though, and you grumble.
Kind of like Earl did. But anyway. No, I mean, we're different types of producers. Some, kind of like you and Earl. Yeah. One of us, I'm like you. He's like, anyway.
Go ahead.
Comes in, and I've never seen Pepper this angry. Like, he is just not taking it.
Uh-oh.
He runs in and goes, fuck you, Earl. I found it in 2 seconds. And Earl goes, what was it? And what was it called? And Pepper just goes, fuck you. That's what it was called.
Is it in parody songs?
Is it fuck you?
He is so fired up. He goes, it took me 2 seconds to find it.
Yeah.
What?
The Davey Mack system.
What's the tension behind the scenes there? Like what?
The Davey Mack system, the CSS, the common sense system.
The Dave system, yeah. No. But Pepper, something prior to this, like not just this one incident. Was it?
No. So that's a person who also explodes, but whereas I feel like I try to get things off my chest almost instantly. I mean, very quickly.
Yeah, we may be like sending...
He lets things sit in a little bit. I would say Earl is the biggest culprit of this. And then the second one, though, behind him is Pepper, will let things bother him or boil or just build up, and then the insane part happens. So more than likely, there was nothing that just set him off in that moment. It was all of Earl not listening to him. It was probably him watching Earl struggle with looking things up day in and day out, knowing that the CSS, the common sense system, would be a lot more efficient. By plugging in, proper keywords and rather than hashes.
The frustration between Pepper and Earl is something that kind of might be the signature stamp of his internship, of Pepper's internship.
Yeah.
Like, because it culminated in the intern revolution, which is one of the things we're definitely going to get into.
They get along,
yeah,
though, don't
they're
they?
there now. I think it's one of those things where you just get used to working with somebody. You learn how, But so there wasn't anything more to it was just the build-up.
It was the build-up. That's how he operates.
He's an intern at the time, right?
Yeah.
And he's walking in and telling the producer the track's called
Well, it depends.
Fuck You.
Is Pitsy there?
Pitsy's there.
So then he's an intern.
Yeah, so he is an intern.
Essentially, Pitsy left, I think, to take another job at the college in Long Island, and that's when Pepper joined as producer.
Well,
so as long as Pitsy's there,
I'm glad you brought up Pitsy, because Pitsy comes in next and goes, "It's so simple, Earl. We
shout
all
out
know."
Anthony Pizzatola.
He's been on the Davey Mack Sports
Absolutely.
program.
I talked
Not at
to
the
him.
dojo yet,
Oh, yeah,
but
I still talk
we
to
got to
him.
get him there. But what's the animosity between Pitts and Earl? Because literally, that's the end of Pitts' career.
Yeah, it's the same thing, honestly, Robert. With most people, Pitsy would know, he would get frustrated with Earl, kind of, especially if Pitsy had a way of maybe doing something that was quicker. He would say, Earl, can you do it this way? And Earl would say, well, I like to do it this way. And after weeks and months and a couple of years of that, you slowly want to kill someone, really.
Interesting. So far we have you covering for Earl to the point where you break.
There's no personal stuff.
We have Pepper covering for Earl to the point that he breaks, and we have Pipsy.
It's amazing, right? That you would think that
breaks.
this animosity would have come from something personal. Oh, yeah, he fucked my girl. Yeah, he said something bad about me. Yeah, he insulted my mom or whatever the shit. No, it was all insane amounts of frustration.
And honestly, Ron's not getting much from Pepper or Pitts other than just fuck you, Earl. Like, that's what they're bringing to the table. So in an attempt to move on, he goes, let's bring in the resident artist in-house, Mooch.
Okay.
Mooch, come on in.
Mooch from Ireland. Great guy.
We being me and your other two producers of this, would like to know, what did Ron see in Mooch? And this isn't a critique. This isn't a critique at all. It was a genuine
good song.
Just
videos.
Oh, he did do videos.
Yeah.
Okay, because it seems
Videos.
like Mooch
Good
came
videos.
in.
Good, very, very good. I would say cinematographer, photographer, good visual artist, can put together stuff really well.
How did you guys meet Mooch? Because he kind of came into the scene
I
and
think
was
he
welcomed
just
right
started
away.
Calling.
Okay.
And then he said, "Oh, I'm going to be in New York for a week. Come on by."
And
then he said, "Come on by." And I think if it's like if you're hanging out, just keep on coming by.
that's the line of mistakes that Ron taught you to make as well, because you said the same thing to me and I've never left. So you ended up stuck with me. Yeah, if you're going to be around, hang.
Yeah, that's pretty much the truth.
It's like herpes. It's never going away. But
yeah, Mooch is a great guy.
What's he up
Why?
to?
What is
we were just curious because Mooch always just kind of seems to get respected by everybody, and we weren't sure. You have to do something like that to get respected like that.
Video
you have to
production
earn it, so we weren't sure
ability.
what he was bringing to. But
yes,
that makes sense.
And I believe he also did music. Some production with the audio as well. But I think video was the
So
forte.
he was doing like the for the website video and things like that for
you
guys.
It was the burgeoning of YouTube. There was a video component should have been
a part of it,
and was being implemented, and Mooch was doing that.
I mean, honestly, that's something you guys capitalized on better than anybody. Was the boards.
Mooch, I believe. I hope I'm not wrong, but the Midnight Rider versus Eastside Dave wrestling match at the Big Ass Bash at the Hard Rock
that we showed in the last episode part of.
Right,
Yeah.
I believe Mooch is the one filming it, and he does a fantastic job because you could see the entire match, the entire ring. He never gets lost with the action. Everything is seen.
Yeah.
I think he was the person filming that.
Makes sense. That would make sense. That we were just curious about that.
So
he kind of comes in and is like, yeah, Earl is terrible, and he backs you guys up because again, he's been there. You said a week, and at this point, he's already figured out that Earl is.
Is that
slowing
Mooch
things
said
down.
Earl's terrible too?
Yeah, he was like, it's not getting better. And then Ron brings in Lily.
Okay, she's gonna have nothing but compliments to say. Earl brought Lily into the fold.
He's why she is there. Ron goes, Lily, come in here for a second. How's Earl getting along with the staff?
Okay.
And Lily goes, she's not.
He's not.
He's not, yeah.
Okay, what?
And then Earl gives my favorite line of probably this whole saga. Where he goes, yeah, you've been a grade A cunt all day.
Lily, how's Earl getting along with the other people?
What do you mean? The staff?
Is he getting along with the staff? Is that working out that way?
No. Nobody seems to like him.
Seriously, not like him?
You've been a grade A cunt all day.
Earl said that to Lily. Yeah. You've been a grade A cunt all day.
Yes. And then you go, she's not eggs. Why'd you call her grade A?
About to say that just now. It's so sad that every time I'm going to say something, you're like, oh, that's exactly what you said. So I'm just letting you give me
Sorry,
my
I
lines.
apologize.
No, don't apologize. I'm not going to say anything.
You were on fire.
Why would he call her grade A cut just for saying he's not getting along with the staff? That is, again, not an insult. I tell you, the king of misdirected anger, Earl Douglas.
You didn't quote yourself this time. You asked Ron Bennington. Or you quoted Ron Bennington, who asked the same question, who went, Earl, why did you call her a cunt?
Why?
And he goes, I don't know. She's been in a mood all day. Oh, I get it. You're on your period. But that's not an excuse to be a royal cunt to everybody. And she goes, I am on my period, and it is an excuse. And he goes, no, it's not. You can't be a cunt to everybody. And he just keeps doubling down to the point where Deb even goes, that's a lot of cunts.
I mean, it is a lot.
Yeah, and Ron goes, do you like being called the N-word, Earl? Because that's what you're doing right now.
I mean, it's a lot of cunts.
Yeah.
Really, cunt is a one word.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you use it once.
Oh, yeah. It loses the emphasis.
And that's it.
Yeah. If you're going to shout a bunch, it's got to be a fuck or a damn.
How did he know she was on her period? What the fuck did I miss? That they're having period discussions and Earl's in on all of the goddamn fucking Lily.
I mean, it certainly
cycle.
wasn't the rhythm method. We know that. That's not why he was up to her dates.
This is crazy to me.
Maybe she was acting like that, though, and just made an excuse. Either
I
way.
don't know.
So you said Earl brought her on. Obviously, there's romantic tension between those two.
One-sided. It's like a fucking,
Well, the
one-way
tension
street.
is one person wants and the other doesn't. Wants nothing to do with.
Yeah. The other person will like walk in the park with Earl while he sometimes takes pictures of her. That's the relationship.
Okay.
They like each other. They were doing a show for a little bit, some kind of internet show or something. I don't know if that still is going on. I believe it was on Twitch Twitch is the video game. I don't know. It was live on Twitter. I think they were trying to follow Tucker Carlson. And so
Lily and Earl?
Yeah.
We're trying to follow Tucker Carlson.
No, I'm just saying they were doing a Twitter show where it was like it wasn't even a podcast. It was like she was smoking. I don't know. I pressed play a couple times. She'd be smoking vast amounts of pot on a couch, and then Earl would be sitting next to her, and they just, I guess, talk about life.
Okay, so if they talked about
Twitter
Tales,
only, though. It was a Twitter only show.
If they had talked about Tales from the Satellite, it'd basically be us, just not on a couch.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So there wasn't anything like specific. Again, it was just Lily was tired of her. So we've got two interns just shitting all over.
I honestly believe none of this. I don't think anyone really dislikes or hates Earl personally at all. At all.
No.
But when you work with him, there gets the frustration thing.
I can imagine that.
Especially when you're just looking at something, looking at the computer. You're knowing the other people in that room are on the air waiting for something, and you know of a way to get what they're looking for, and he's just fucking around. It's like he's fucking, jerking off the computer mouse. It was just back and forth with the fucking computer mouse, just back and forth. I'm like, you fucking trying to get that computer mouse to ejaculate?
I think that is one of the things Pepper yelled. He was like, he just sits there, Ronnie, scrolling in the same fucking folder. Up and down, up and down,
That's
up
what
and
he
down.
does.
But, so no tension there. Earl's called her a cunt too much. And Ron goes, what would your grandmother say?
Earl?
Exact?
Earl, honey? Stop calling that girl a cunt.
Earl.
There are plenty other words to use. Bitch, whore, twat.
I don't think he went quite that route, but I enjoyed it.
It's Earl's grandmother 2.0. He actually stuck for Earl for a change.
Earl, honey, lots of things you can call Lily. Like a pothead who's going nowhere.
Okay, I'm just kidding, Lily. I like her. What else?
So
Earl's grandmother came out. Was that the debut?
No.
Was that
it
the
wasn't.
premiere? No.
We'll get in that in 1 second. Good. As you do it, Earl slams his headphones, slams the chair, and storms over to you. In the process, he breaks Opie's chair.
See, he breaks Opie's chair. He probably blamed it on me. And that's when, and then Opie sat in it the next day. Chair broke. He's been paralyzed ever since. Did you know that?
No.
I was just fucking with
I was
you.
going to say, that's some
Yeah,
amazing
I know.
CGI.
I'm trying to, get some scoops on the Patreon.com.
I've been paralyzed since I was 35.
No, but I do recall maybe Opie knowing that his chair was broke. And again, Earl not admitting to the crime.
Opie. Okay.
Not saying anything. He would never say, I fucked up your chair. I taped over the Grammys, brother.
It was I take responsibility
and
for
so
my
everyone
staff.
else would get, fucking the evil eye. We're all the pieces of shit.
He was acting like he was being the tough guy going, I take responsibility for my staff. But in
he
reality...
would only take it after we all would throw him under the bus and say, listen,
it was just him trying to get
we're not taking shit
the blame
from other
spread
shows
out.
on the channel for this guy anymore.
Exactly.
That's the guy who fucked your shit up.
So
and then finally, after like 6 or 7 of us would do that, then and only then would Earl go, I take full responsibility for my actions. Okay. At that point, you're goddamn Jimmy Swaggart, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
It's too late. Too late, buddy.
So Earl storms over to you and goes, say it now. He's standing right in front of you. He goes, be brave, Dave. Be brave. And
be brave?
Yeah. What do you do in that moment?
Be brave. So we're standing nose to nose?
You're sitting in the studio. You're on mic still. You had just gotten done
but
doing...
I'm sitting.
You had just gotten done doing Earl's grandmother, yeah.
Be brave. I would say... like the Atlanta
That
Braves.
would have been good. No, you went, Earl? You did it, grandmother.
I'm going to do one last...
Earl, honey, go fuck yourself, baby.
Something along those
Something
lines.
along that.
Earl chokes you.
Earl...
Grabs you by the throat
that's when he
and
choked
starts
me?
strangling you. And you can
I
hear
remember I was definitely seated and he was standing, and he knocked me off the chair.
And you can hear the reaction in the room. And it's an, oh my God. And it's not a, oh, we have to show that something's going on. Oh my God. It is a real, oh my God, Earl's choking Dave.
He choked me for real. He knocked me off the chair for real.
And he's yelling, take it back, take it back, take it back. And Ron's going, you're going to kill him, Earl. You're hitting his windpipe. You're hitting his windpipe. You're going to kill him. And he's going, take it back, Dave. And you're going, I can't take it back. Can't breathe. Can't breathe. Can't take it back.
All right, I can't take it back if I'm being suffocated.
Yeah, you can't get the hair out.
I can't speak.
Exactly.
So all of that is 100% real.
It's a...
Just so you know, that first time, no question about it.
And
again, I don't hold... You know what? I never snitched on anybody in my entire life. That's another thing that Earl should be pleased with. Another thing. Because I didn't say anything to one goddamn person. Wicklin, goddamn HR, nobody's going to learn about this little fucking... Even though it was on the radio.
Well, and that's really what happens in this moment. Because this isn't the first time you've done Earl's grandmother. This isn't the first time
he went nuts right here and then started
and this
choking
isn't
me,
the first time you've even been choked by Earl, believe it or not. This is, however, the first time it was a 100% shoot.
Involuntary.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, I'm being choked and knocked out of my chair.
And you wake up, you come to. You may not have been fully out, but you were blacking in and out. You could tell, like, you're that out of it. And your only thought is, I have to save this guy who just almost killed me's job. Like...
Why?
That's what you do. He just choked you on air.
I know, but what did
Everybody
I do?
Heard it. You instantly turn it into, you turn the shoot, you do what you always do, and you turn the shoot into a work. Because you go right back into Earl's grandmother.
There's a difference between being that's not a work. That is someone who is probably pissed for real, deciding, well, if he choked me because I did his grandmother, I'm going to keep doing it. So that's not a work. That I would say is just me being fucking insane Davey Mack. Similar to this mild moments in this recent controversy. Where,
you were a little angry actually, but I don't know if that's
angry
true.
Actually, and also performing, cognizant of the fact that we're performing and we're performers.
So I know that's what you're saying now looking back, but I genuinely think in the moment, based off your reaction, you were trying to help Earl. Like the way it came off, and I'll explain why once we get to it, but we have to first visit the first time you did Earl's family on air, because I want to know why you went to his grandmother, why that's what specifically you went to, and we'll do that right after this quick break.
So you choke? You choke people on Good Friday?
I don't choke people on Good Friday, but
yes,
you know what?
Did.
You ask people to stop, you don't stop, you face the consequences. Face the consequences. Face the consequences.
Hello, Napoleon. My very small cock is getting sucked on by Earl's grandmother. Stay
Earl, stop choking him.
Face the consequences.
And we are back with a dramatic recreation
Well, we've decided because it's easier to sometimes show people things rather than just talk about them. So I've decided to recreate the choking with my puppets, Lil Davey and New Jivey. And so I was seated at this type of position, as you can see, and Earl was standing above me like this. And so, all I'm doing is, Earl. He comes in, he stands above me. This already is a pretty aggressive, dare I say, act of intimidation by standing there.
Be brave, David.
Yeah, be brave. Yeah, go ahead.
Be brave, David.
Earl, baby.
Be brave, David.
And then, boom, hand on throat, knocked me out, went flying. And then Earl, and the one thing, Bobby, you forgot to mention, and I want to key on this because this was fantastic. Like a movie, you forgot to mention, Earl looked down at his hands after he had choked me and hit me out of the chair. He literally looked down at his hands like a movie and said,
"What have I done?
And then
What have I done?"
Yeah, I swear to God,
He did.
looked at his hands and said, "What have I done?"
Because Ron then takes the ball and
What
goes,
did I do?
"What did you do, Earl?"
What did I do? I killed a man, Dave. Ron, I killed a man, so they said. I killed a man. I lay in his grave. Yeah. Maybe in the future I'll do like some of those Johnny Cash songs,
Ooh.
I lay my head. Remember that song?
I wish you do. I hurt.
I hurt myself today.
Why?
What have I become?
What did I do? But anyway,
you can take your seat back at the in your little section there. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your help. Go ahead, Robert. I'm listening.
Ron called
Just like
for
to get the puppets,
Earl's grandmother, in the sense that he said, "What would your grandmother think?" But you had done his grandmother before.
Really?
Yeah.
So I thought the first time I did it was when he choked me.
Believe
I
it or
really
not,
did.
You had done it before, and that isn't even the first family member of Earl's you did an impression of. Yeah. Because the first one you did was his mother. A caller called in and said...
The reason why I did the grandmother is because she died. I mean, I hate to be an evil prick, but that's why I decided to switch it over to the grandma.
And for that one, when you did the grandmother, there were a whole bunch of people in studio. It was kind of fun. Ron was like, "What are you going to do about it, Earl? What are you going to do? Don't choke him, Earl." And then he kind of choked you, but it wasn't the same level of violence.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And the way I know it wasn't the same level of violence is because the next time, Ron, during this fight on Black Friday, goes, What did you even do, Dave? You go, Earl, you went to do an impression. You go, "I'm just," and Earl chokes you, and you go, wait, let me finish the bit. Like he is just angry. There's no radio in his mind.
Hi, everyone. We're all...
No! Wait, let me get out. No! Don't belt me no more. Oh, it's okay, all right.
Turn that music down. Come on.
Jesus.
It is
No,
violence.
I know.
It is kind of fitting that he tried to kill you and couldn't even do that right. But
he tried to get it. He tried to get
but again,
some.
just failed dozer.
Tried to get some.
Failed
One of the
dozer.
things that, though, I am proud of is truly, as he was choking me, knocking me out of my chair, I was laughing.
Oh, you can hear it.
Going backwards and even falling to the ground, I'm still laughing. I was so...
You can
I don't know. It was at the same time while it was shocking. It was so funny to me that this guy has gone berserk and he's literally physically attacking me.
The volume and length
humorous.
of each laugh decrease because he's choking you as you're laughing, so you hear ha.
Well, this is fun. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not as funny as I thought it was. Can you please?
But the first family member you did wasn't even his grandmother. A caller called in and goes, "Guys,
his grandfather?
No,
I like to suck dicks in heaven. I'm Earl's grandfather.
It's great. You don't have to be on the DL up here." No.
Yeah, he went to heaven.
A caller
didn't he?
called in and was like, "Guys like that are just trying to impress their moms." And Earl went, "My mother would be very proud of me," because Ron goes, "When we've got two failures in Dave and Earl." And they play into, "Do you want to fuck your mom, Earl?" Because that's what making her proud means. It means licking her pussy, and you did an impression of his mother going, Earl. It's the same impression.
Okay, yeah, same impression, same voice.
Earl, come lick my pussy.
Oh, Jesus, Bobby, when you do
Can I hear
it?
Earl, can you lick my pussy? Come here, babe. Come here, sweetie.
Flick that bean.
Oh, baby, yeah.
And Earl goes, oh, you're lucky you're hiding behind that microphone. And Ron and Fez both go,
2 inches tall.
That only works if you're a caller. You're in the studio.
Yeah, because a microphone is not a big piece of equipment. You could say that, if only you weren't hanging behind that vault door.
Something, yeah. But you're right there.
Yeah, you weren't hiding behind that fucking barricade or something. If only you weren't hiding behind a thing that's about 4 inches in height and 2 centimeters in width. If only you weren't hiding behind that banana. If only you weren't hiding behind that toothpick, man. I'd be after your ass if you weren't hiding behind that pebble. Could he pick a smaller object?
Exactly. If we weren't kissing right now, Anyway. What's Earl's family dynamic like?
Oh, I don't know. I never met these people in my life.
Not his dynamic with his family, I guess, because it seems like it's a very sensitive, hot button issue for him.
I don't know anything about him.
You brought up his mom, he got violent. You brought up his grandmother, he gets violent.
I don't know these people.
2 weeks ago on the Davey Mac Sports program, I made a Beanie Mac joke and you laughed. It doesn't get to you the same way it got to Earl.
Sure.
And we know he's not an only child, but he shows a lot of traits kind of like that because he argues like a kid who was raised by old parents. Well, I'm in charge, David, so you should listen to my system. Ron, I'm the executive producer, and Dave won't listen to me.
Well,
and you're like, no, we just got to get a show. Like, you could see the dynamic there, and I recognize that.
I always listened to Earl when things were efficient. Number one, I would listen and do. Then, if what Earl said didn't work, and 2 or 3 or 5 minutes goes by and we're live on the air, then maybe I gotta take my fucking the hands into myself or whatever the goddamn phrase is.
That's one of the lessons Roy taught me about working with you. If everything's ready to go, Dave won't have any feedback or anything ready. When things go wrong, that's when Dave's gonna step in and do stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's being a leader.
Thank you.
I'm gonna let you go until you fail, and then I'll step in and save the day like I always do.
Yeah. That's why I'm every 6 minutes I have to reprimand you because you fail left and right.
Me? Oh yeah. No, you're not. I was gonna say 6 or 7 minutes. That's generous. It's usually every 2 or 3. But
yes.
As I check to make sure we've been recording.
No, you son of a bitch.
No,
have we been recording?
Oh, absolutely. So the reason I noticed that is I'm 5 years older than my youngest sibling, and then 7. So there's that dynamic there too, where I had to learn no, other kids won't behave like adults. They're going to behave like kids. And I think Earl has a real hard time with that.
Possibly.
It seems like...
Kind of interesting because I actually have 3 older brothers, and I don't know how Earl is, how old Earl is now. Does anyone know?
I thought he was 95.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it could be any sort of age. He's like the guy in the Overlook Hotel, that janitor, who we're just not sure, what kind of supernatural being this person is.
I thought he's been in radio since the pre-FM days, so I don't know.
Well, if he's not been there, he's been cleaning toilets at the Overlook. But I'll tell you,
or vibe managing.
I am the youngest of 4 sons, and my brother, who was closest in age to me, was 4 years older. Then it's almost 9 and 10 years older. And the 4-year older person was always at some cross-country tournament. So in some ways, I have a little understanding of the only child, but not a lot, not really, because as a kid, there were always kids around. My brothers were always around. So
yeah, exactly. And you could tell that because you have that energy, because if you look at what's happening in this fight, you're taking the heat because Earl's mad at everybody else except for you. You were the one person not yelling at him, telling him how to search, and you realize what's going on and go, I'll just take the heat for this. I'll step up for everybody else once again, be the heel, and talk about Earl's dead grandma, which I know
heat
sets him
miser
off.
over here. That's
right?
what they call me, right? They call me Davey Mac Christmas Special because it's like I'm the fucking heat miser.
And you step up, you play the heel, he chokes
You
you.
like that he miser thing?
Yeah.
That was pretty
Whatever you touch
Pretty good.
starts to melt in your clutch.
Okay. But
May have been too much.
what were we going to say?
No, so you step up for everybody and you kind of take the heat. He chokes you.
Yeah.
When you were making fun of his grandmother with the live studio audience, it was clearly a bit. Ron egged him on. In that same fight, he egged him to choke you. He goes, "There's not a mic there. Why don't you choke him? Why don't you do something?" And I'm curious. I've been angry at people, angry enough for violence. I've never, in my adult life, committed it. Like, I've left the room. But, you know, we've all had that moment where you're like, I'm going to do something that I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Never once has my thought been, I'm going to walk over and choke that guy.
Right, because it's more of a punch. Yeah, a push to the chest.
A tackle, maybe, you know.
Push up the chest. Yeah.
Something, but it's never been.
Choking. A choking is funny. Choking really is, but it fit because even though I was doing Earl's grandmother and not the bearded Joker at the time, I had a very Joker-like quality when he put his hands around my fucking neck. He was just wringing my head. I was just like, ah!
Because you can hear you laughing.
So the choking, I'm going to give him a little credit. The choking is more dramatic than if he just slapped me in the face. Then I would have gotten a chair and tried to hit him in the head over and over with it.
And if he had said he was thinking about drama or thinking about radio, that would have been a great answer. But he's not. He's just angry. And Ron even asked him when he's looking at his hands going, "What did you do, Earl?" And Earl's going, "What did I do?" Ron goes,
"What did I do, man?
Why would you choke him, Earl? Why would you choke him?" And Earl's answer is, "So that the last thing he sees before he dies is my hands around his neck."
First of all, you can't see someone's hands around your neck, you stupid fucking idiot.
And then,
you should have said the last thing I could have seen is your cold, dead eyes.
So I can watch.
Like, look at where your hands would be. How are my eyes going to see that? Your eyeballs don't go below your fucking chin. See?
And then he goes, "So I
God
can watch
damn,
the
last
life."
thing I'd see is his choking hands.
So I can watch the life leave their eyes. Yeah.
I'd be like, Earl, can you get me a mirror
So I can see your choking hands. That could be the last thing I see. I need a mirror, buddy, because I can't see them. They're underneath where my vision goes, you know?
Were you aware that his family's an instant trigger? Like, do you know that that's something?
What did you say? I told you. Okay.
Trigger. I said.
It's funny. Doing the old Rob Fest
Andy
thing.
Franco.
No, I don't know his relationship with his family. I truly don't. They are still mysterious. I don't think I've met one of them.
Now you would say you know his family's something that would set him off if you talk about it,
No,
right?
I don't even know it now. This is fresh news to me.
I'm going to try to help you, Dave. Every time you bring up Earl's family, he chokes you.
with the voice
No, I'm
and
just
the
joking.
relatives
Yeah, no, I'm
fucking,
just joking. Yeah.
satanic people. I'm saying, do you know if he doesn't like talking about his family?
Oh, I don't know about that. I meant the mocking about being in hell and getting fucked, or saying that you were his mother and you wanted Earl to lick your pussy.
Well, it's just interesting that I don't know still to this day a lot about his family now that I think about it.
Well, and they're just...
I know that they're Jets fans. Jets fans, what do they say? They're gonna win the team in the USA or something like that. Yeah.
Jets fans.
Jets fans.
I liked Al Duke's version better. But somebody mentioned the fact that, like, he points out that his parents are these great people all the time, and then you've got two examples, Earl and his sister, and neither one are shining reproductions, according to Jared. So, but we were curious because, like, you go right into his grandmother, he gets choked, you pop up and you do it right away. He chokes you again before you can even get a character out. Then Napoleon's there, and he's being blown. My micro dick's being blown by Earl's mother, or grandmother.
Napoleon
showed up. Yeah, you were doing Napoleon.
The French
dictator was in hell, and Earl's mother.
I don't remember this.
Talk about an invasion of jizz, and then you get choked again.
Oh, that's great.
At which
Napoleon.
Hello, Napoleon. My very small cock is getting sucked on by Earl's grandmother. Talk about a complex with jizz. Oh, yeah, suck on it. Ow! Come Earl, stop choking him. How come you never punch, Earl? You just choke. What is wrong with you? You've got to be exhausted.
Well, the idea behind choking is that the last thing you see is just my hand around his throat.
Earl, do you know how to? I mean, Dave, do you know how to protect yourself?
I guess not.
You just
He's very
get
quick.
choked. You just get choked and go down.
He's very
Napoleon
good.
showed up. That was a good one. This one was actually less you.
Earl, your grandmother has such nice wet pussy. Oh, it makes me think of Waterloo. It's so wet. All right, anyway.
Something like this was actually prior to the grandmother, you channeling her. It was more other people in hell.
Gotcha.
Hi, it's Biggie Smalls, and I'm DMX, and we're fucking Earl's grandmother.
Oh,
We're
so it's
roasting her.
it's an it's
It
an
was almost-
inversion.
it was the inverted,
The celebs
yeah.
came out to say that they're fucking her in hell,
Yes.
rather than her saying all of
And-
her sexual conquests in the afterlife.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
It was the opposite.
Interesting.
At one point, Ron goes, "Why would you choke him, Earl?" And he goes, "Because he said my grandmother." And Ron goes, "That's a terrible impression. That's all that was." It was very funny.
Yeah, I can't
So
do
you did-
Napoleon. I've never
you
been
did
able to do a French
Napoleon.
accent unless it's the fucking skunk from the Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Now let's see when Dave does it.
I'm Harry Truman, and I just dropped a bomb on Earl's grandmother's snatch. A bomb full of chicks. Don't you touch me.
You were doing so
Stay with
good.
your lessons.
Earl, don't
Stay
do it. Oh, you're choking him out.
Okay.
You did Hitler.
Of course.
Then
Oh, yes, oh, she's nice and spry. Very nice, oh.
I'm
Hot sex, Earl! Hot sex and nerves and hot sex and nerves and
Earl's grandmother's and always comes on time. Fez calls in.
Fez.
Hi, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to check in. I hadn't had a chance to listen. How's the new system working out there? Is everything going smooth?
And this is one of my favorite moments of this entire saga. Because old Fez is back. He is trying to, again, save Earl's job. It's the day
Amazing how many people are trying to
it's
save
the
his job.
day- well, you got to remember, it's Good Friday. It's the day before a long weekend. Because you guys
Right,
take off
mentioned
the
that.
Monday.
This legitimately happened on Good Friday.
On Good Friday.
He can never call himself a Christian again.
And, well,
Forget it.
That's how I knew that you were covering for him. Because after you pop up, Ron goes, "What did you do, Earl? Earl, you choked a man. Why would you choke him? Because I could see the life leave. Earl, you choked a man on Black Friday." And you go,
Good Friday.
Good Friday. Yeah, Ronnie, I don't think Jesus was choked to death. I think he was crucified.
Crucified.
You point that out.
He was
and it's
crucified.
Clearly, you're rolling with the bit to try to get it going for Earl again. Fez calls in.
I'm capable of doing multi things. It's similar to last week. I was performing and having fun while being fired up and shooting all at the same time. It's a complicated thing. Not
I am
everything
not.
is a work.
I could
See what I'm
not
saying?
compartmentalize like you did to go, I'm still going to preserve this guy's career
No, that's-
and get my
I've
anger
been
out, which
trying
is
to-
just incredible.
That's why I've been trying to mentor you about how to do that.
And we're
for
getting
how
there.
long? When did you join me?
2019.
Jesus Christ.
It's
4
been-
years.
4 great years.
Fucking whiskey.
Maybe
I should
even-
have gotten an IPA for this episode.
Maybe even 18, but 5 years. But anyway, you're covering for him. Fez calls in. He's covering for him.
What does he say?
He goes, "Hey, Ron," and he's doing the old Fez voice.
Mm-hmm.
He's all into it. Just checking in. Want to see how that new system's working. I was worried there might be some kinks.
I see. He's being overly happy, not knowing that all
Pretending-
of this shit is going on.
But
that's
he
fantastic.
goes, "Yeah,
that would
just-
be a hysterical phone call to hear now.
Any incidents?" And Ronnie goes, "No, not really any incidents, but Earl's kind of doing his old system." And Fez goes, "Oh, what's that?" And he goes, "Well, Earl's sitting in a corner facing the wall in his new position." And Fez goes, "Well, that's weird. He can't hit any buttons." And then Ron goes, "And part of the new system is occasionally Dave and his grandmother show up and Earl chokes them." Fezzy goes, "Oh boy, that's definitely not part of the system."
That's not part of the system at all, Rod.
That's
That's not one of the details of the system. Ronnie. That's fucking great.
The new system is this, Fez. It's changed a little bit.
Yeah?
But the new system is Earl is now in a chair facing the wall,
Oh.
away from anything that he could touch during the show.
Yeah, I was going to say there's no buttons or anything on the wall.
Well, occasionally he gets up and chokes Dave.
Oh. That's not part of the new system.
No.
And Ron goes, "You still recovering from your fake heart attack?" And Deb goes, "I'm glad to hear you're doing okay."
It's very much real, and we're going to get to the bottom of this new system when I return.
Deb goes, I'm glad to hear you're feeling better. And Fez goes, "Yeah, I really dodged the Reaper on this one, Deb."
Thank God he wasn't there. We would have said, I mean, the stress. No wonder. It's... Look, we all love Earl, but I don't know if it's... Maybe he has an OCD... You know what? I'm going to try and help him out. Maybe he has an OCD thing. Maybe there's like a thing that like he needs to look up things a certain way or have a certain system. He should look into that and then talk to us. And I think everyone else, then you can chill out a little bit. Possibility. That's all I'm saying. Maybe he has a fucking OCD and he can't look things up normally, like me and yous.
Dave, if you bought a car when you were 20, right, and somebody went, "Man, I know it needs a little work, but you just got to soup it up," and for the past 30 years, all you heard was, "That would be a really nice car. You just got to give it a chance. You really just got to get that car into shit." Maybe you just go, "It's been 30 years. Let's just get rid of the car." That might be my thoughts on the Earl situation. But Fez is on the phone. He goes, "Well, what set Earl off?" And Ron goes, "Grandmother. His grandmother was here." And Fez goes, "What would that sound like?" And you do Harry Truman. "Harry Truman here, and I just dropped 2 bombs in Earl's grandmother's pussy." And he chokes you out again.
He does. He goes after it.
And
that's
then,
good, though. Harry Truman.
Oh, that's great. At this point, you go, I hear you yell, "No belt, no belt, no belt." What does that... Was he taking his belt and choking you with the belt?
No, I think he was going to try and take it off and make it into a strap match of kinds.
Okay, he was going to...
Impromptu strap match.
That makes more sense.
I didn't sign up for any of this, let alone a strap match.
And literally the next time you do an impression, he hits you with the belt.
Yeah, he had a belt. He had the belt in his hands.
Ron yells, "I told you no fucking belt."
No
and
belt.
Earl goes, "Oh shit, my bad," and puts the belt down.
He hit me with a belt. That was not signed up for because you hear me audibly saying no belt.
No belt.
No belt.
No belt.
Well, because it's got a buckle.
Yeah, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't get you with the buckle, it's still going to fucking hurt.
And the rest of the shit.
You've already been choked nearly to death.
Yeah.
Ron also points out he's going to crush your windpipe. And I don't know if you heard this urban legend growing up, but you really have to choke people in the right way. If you do it the wrong way, you can kill somebody.
Yeah?
Yeah, like if you hit the blood vessels.
I've never done that before. I've choked some of these puppets.
Well,
they don't complain. Do ya? You just sit there and look pretty. And keep your fucking mouth closed. Go ahead, Robert. I'm sorry. That was a, psychotic tangent. Go ahead.
So they ask when you're coming back, Fez, and he goes, Tuesday. And Ron goes, "Quick, clean up the blood and blow torches. Get this all ready to go before he gets back." Fez goes, "All right, well, I'm going to get out of here and rest up." And Ron goes, "Yeah, I want to hear you rest up from that fake heart attack some more. Good luck." And he goes, "Oh, but the Fez voice was back. Love that. I hope that comes next week." And that's the end of the call. And it was awesome. It was truly old Fez.
Sounds great.
At this point, Lily starts getting notes from the beyond and starts making jokes. One of them is
Lily?
Einstein is in hell.
Okay. What does Einstein say?
Something about E = MC Earl's grandmother's vagina, I think. That may just be my bad joke.
Lily is delivering lines now.
Well,
she's communicating with the dead.
To be clear, Lily is very obviously being delivered lines from the dead.
No, I'm just trying to say, how did Lily get the powers of the afterlife communication, the seance that obviously, you know me.
Yeah.
Okay, I practice black magic, so I have the ability to do some of this, supernatural shit.
I think, honestly...
Was there a story, is what I'm saying? Was Lily in the studio for a different reason?
Lily was in the studio because that's who Earl was really mad at. Like, Ron points out...
Seems that way when you go about the period and the cunt talk.
And Ron goes, "You're really mad at Lily." And hit her. And Earl goes, No, I would not hit a woman. No, I will not do that. No. And
that's when he decides to have class.
But the over denial almost makes it feel like he absolutely would push come to shove.
It's that he thinks just by saying that he's a stand-up guy. It's like, that's no shit, sir. Also, you just choked someone and hit them with a belt. So your stand-up classy points go right out the window. No, absolutely not. I'll never hit a woman. No,
So-
that makes me a good guy.
Einstein, you get choked.
Choked?
Again.
Damn.
Queen Elizabeth is in hell fingering Earl's grandmother, at which point Deb goes, she's not even dead, and you and Ron go, the first one. Which was a very funny, just off the cuff moment. Like, no. The writing's fine. Don't critique.
That's what Jedi Jared does that drives me insane. I call him the Quibbler. Because no matter what I'm doing, I've literally canceled impromptu bits on Yaddle Chattel. Not to get too sideways, but because like I'll be talking about something and then he'll quibble. He'll be like, actually, Dave, the capital of Alaska is really blah, blah, blah. And I go, that was the least important part of this character that I'm doing and trying to come up with. So thanks a lot.
Isn't it Jakarta?
Fucking no.
You get, I was doing that thing. I was being overly specific and missing the point of the bit.
But what's going on? I mean, what happened next after Deb said that?
So then Ron goes, anything else? You got any more, Lily? And she goes, nope. I think I'm not getting any messages right now because you didn't have time to write her another note.
I'm not getting any
She
messages.
had one chance to just do improv and was like, nah, I'm just going to go. I didn't get anything from Dave.
Yeah, I know. Just come up with anyone who's dead and then they're fucking his grandmother. You know, if you want to throw a little sass into it, maybe there's a titty suck or something like that. You know, there's different things that can be done to grandma.
John the Baptist, when Fez was on the phone, was a character you did, and he was
John the Baptist. See, that's perfect because then I don't have to do an impression. No one knows what the shit he sounded like. So I can be like, hi, I'm John the Baptist.
And I just...
Hello! Who wants to get baptized? Come on! Dip your head in the river!
You're like, imagine if John the Baptist sounded like that. How fucking
that
funny
would
that
be
would
awesome. He,
You know, everybody, Jesus is my cousin. I'm John the Baptist.
Don't
go
behead
ahead.
me. He baptized Earl's grandmother's titties in his mouth.
Did he really?
That's so you nailed it. But you don't even have to be dead. Because at one point you wrote, Lily, that Elvis and the Memphis Mafia were fucking his grandmother.
Elvis is dead.
And the Memphis Mafia is not.
Oh,
Ron was
okay.
quick to point that out, too. Whoever's up in heaven, you tell that bastard the Memphis Mafia was still alive.
Yeah, probably. Why did I include the Memphis Mafia? I am an
Who
Elvis
knows
fan.
what's going on
I am an
there.
Elvis fan. I love the 68 comeback special. I watched that all hammered. It's the best.
Okay. Yeah.
You ever check out that shit?
I have. I grew up in Memphis. So.
Walking on Memphis.
Street
I'm
it.
fucking around. All right, go ahead.
Feet on an awful wheel.
Earl pushed me to the ground. Go ahead.
So Ron really tries to dive into the why Earl has a hard time taking lessons from a woman thing. And I think that was more of a cover just to make it feel like lots of things were going on and it was all a work. But was there that tension? Did Earl have a harder time taking orders from Lily than he did from you?
There could have been some truth to that.
But how about Lily versus Pepper? Because they were both interns. Like, it's weird for me. I was an intern once. I would never have told the producers to do something. You know what I mean? I was just kind of Mr. I'm kind of like you. You taught me how to do it right.
Yeah, but but I would say, yeah, there was maybe a little something there. He probably didn't like to be told what to do by Lily, but maybe because he had a little crush.
And it's tough
on
to have
Lily.
the person you're trying to impress tell you to
You
do
don't
things.
want, you know, that's
I don't
no
think,
fun.
Because I don't think Earl's a sexist at all, and I wasn't trying to imply that. I was just curious if it was the love thing
Look at
there.
this controversy.
No
Did you just say
controversy.
Earl's a sexist?
No, I don't think that, and I wasn't trying to imply it.
I was trying to end the feud with this episode. You just started it.
I think in order to be a sexist, you have to want to have sex with the other sex.
As for Earl with Pepper, I don't know. I don't think that he just wasn't great at taking advice from us. He was better at taking that from Ron and Fez, but then maybe not always even that. Because they said if the phones go down, play the goddamn phone song, and he didn't. So what am I even talking about? He just does things his own way. He's a unique individual. I'll give him that.
Which may be what started this whole episode, is him just doing something in his own way and not taking advice from anybody else and kind of missing the mark and leaving you confused, right? Like, it could have just been Earl being Earl. It may not have his intent may not have been to set you off. It may have just been lack of ability.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, I mean it's the truth. I mean, yeah.
And
sometimes
honestly,
people aren't trying to set the other one off. You just work in such close proximity, especially in radio. Sometimes that, you just go nuts eventually. Like Hooper and Quint, in Jaws.
Okay. I was like, I don't
and
know
Chief
that morning
Brody.
show.
It's like they all start on the boat, a farewell, my old Spanish lady. Everyone's having a good time. Hooper's asking someone, do you want a pretzel? Or was that before? That was in the other scene. Nevertheless, they're enjoying each other's company. But a couple weeks, 10 days on that boat, close proximity, you're ready to fucking beat each other with a baseball bat. See what I'm saying?
I do. Haven't had that experience quite yet with the people I work with in the similar environment, but I think that may be just more that the difference in stress. Like ours isn't as high pressure as satellite radio.
Good. It's good that you feel that way.
That's life. But the show kind of ends with Ron going, Earl, you choked a man on Good Friday. Every Good Friday, this is all I will think about going forward. And as he's doing that, Satellite of Love is playing in the background. And Dave,
me as well. I'm from now on. Every Good Friday, I'm going to post. I'll post this episode.
Yeah.
And I will discuss choking and how to get out of chokes. I just discovered this brand new show. It's called The Ultimate Fighter. Okay. I've been watching the ESPN app lately, and I basically watched every 30 for 30 they've ever made. So I decided to go through. So now I'm checking out this new show, The Ultimate Fighter. It's a pretty good show. That show, you could see how to get out of a chokehold. Okay?
Okay.
But I got no advice for you. Apparently, I couldn't get out of a chokehold because he was able to put it on me 4 or 5 times.
And that is something Ron points out. He goes, Dave, do you know how to defend yourself at all?
I guess not against a chokehold. I guess that's my Achilles heel.
At one point goes,
throat.
That's why Dave's as impressive as he is, because I wouldn't sit there and take that. And honestly, I wouldn't have either. I would have been like, all right, you get one, and we're done.
Yeah.
But not you. We've come to the point we've done all...
Why?
Why?
Why? What do you think?
Why?
Because who do I care about?
The Ron and Fez show.
Yes, but also, who else?
Earl.
The audience.
Oh.
First and foremost. And yes, whichever show I'm working on, of course. The Ron and Fez show, yes. But the audience, that's who I care about, my friend.
And it clearly shows if you look at your track record of work. But we've come to the point, we've done 3 of these. We've come to the point we come to in every episode where I have to ask the question.
What?
You're telling me this was 100% a shoot?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The initial choke of him knocking me off the seat at Sirius XM. Actually, question. This was the old XM building. I'm almost positive.
I can give you the date if that'll clarify.
Well, you said already. 2006?
That was the first fight. This is 2006 as well.
This is XM building.
Okay.
So that's an important fact. I don't think this ever even occurs if it's at Sirius.
That
Just
makes sense.
a totally different vibe over there.
Yeah.
And a different building,
The reason I have to ask is allow me to...
it was 100% shoot, especially now knowing that it took place in the XM place on 57th Street.
Okay. Allow me to real quick present the case why. It's Good Friday. What happened on Good Friday? Jesus was there at a celebration with all his friends.
Okay.
Gets betrayed.
Yes.
Gets beaten, humiliated, and crucified.
Oh, Lord.
For the mistakes of other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You are there celebrating Deb's birthday with your friends.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You step up.
Yeah.
Get beaten, humiliated, tortured for the mistakes of Earl.
Awful.
Literally down to, how many times was Jesus lashed? Oh, wait, you were lashed with the belt. Literally, it's a Jesus metaphor.
Oh, my God. Didn't think about that.
Again, I ask, you're telling me this was 100% a shoot because it's too perfect.
So let me ask you a question. Are you trying to imply that if you think it's a work, that we were telling a religious allegory with this little fiasco?
I don't.
Because if you are, let me explain something to you. I knew you were a little bit off. but now I know you're batshit crazy.
You're telling me.
Yes, I'm telling you that no one was thinking about fucking the goddamn Bible when I'm doing Earl dead grandmother jokes and
When
he
you're-
choked
when
me
you're-
out impulsively.
When you're literally acting out these steps at the time it was occurring.
It
you're
wasn't
getting
in my head.
struck at the same
I'm not the
hours.
one going to hell, God. Bobby Tamburo is calling me the fucking Jesus in this scenario. Not me.
The big hours on
Don't
Good
strike
Friday.
me down, God.
Noon to 3. You're on air being beaten and strangled. Noon to 3.
It's a weird coinkydink. What do you want me to say?
Even Lily the whore friend was there.
You do know that I was an altar boy, right?
Me too.
I would never blaspheme God like that.
I think it would be a tribute. Like when you act out the Stations of the Cross, that's not blaspheming.
I can't be doing a tribute to God saying people are getting fucked in hell and sucking dick in hell. Come on, man. My tribute to God is I do a little painting of clouds. You see this? Look at this. Some of this. You see this? Look at this. You like that?
Wow.
Look at that painting.
You certainly are quite the artist.
Yeah, my daughter did it. I was going to lie to you and pass it off as my
I know
own,
you
but then
do.
I felt bad that we kept bringing in God and shit.
I know you do creative outlets.
I was gonna.
No, I get it. I get you do lots of creative outlets, which I got to ask you.
I feel terrible
With
about
the
myself.
writer's strike, has it affected you at all?
I had some kind of painting. The writer's strike, yeah, man.
Because-
Fucking, I had 2 goddamn plays on Broadway that I had to shut down.
No, actually though, because I know.
No.
Are
I am
you
no
still-
longer in the Writers Guild.
Okay, that was going to be the next question.
Reason why is because they stopped sending me screeners, and I was legitimately a part of the Writers Guild.
Yeah.
For the screeners.
Well, let's not get into it too much because I think that might actually be the next episode of Tales from the Satellite.
Interesting.
Because we've wrapped up the saga of you being choked to death by Earl. Any final comments before we get out of here other than...
God bless you, Bobby, for all the things that you do.
Thank you so much, Earl.
Final comments. I love Earl Douglas. I'm hoping now this is all, this last week has been quite cathartic. If Earl, if you were trying to cross-promote me on Friday and I got too upset, I apologize that I got so fucking fired up. But then again, I apologize, sort of. Because...
Apologize because you're a little rusty at catching the ball and picking up for Earl's mistakes. It's been a little while since you've had to do that.
Because I didn't know. I thought he was legitimately shitting on me. It didn't feel like fun cross-promote. It felt like Earl shitting on me because, again, he didn't give me any promotion, nor, Earl, did you mention my shows,
Where to find
where the
it.
Shizer list actually comes. If you say that, you got to say the Shizer list, which people think was invented on the Davey Mac sports program, the #1 independent sports show in the world, actually was mine. See, if he had executed it, I probably wouldn't have freaked out. But because his execution was so poor, it felt real to me.
When you say...
Now I want to say, let's all move on and be friends the way we were at the Fez Whatley Memorial, Earl. You know, when I went home, you know what I saw on my own Twitter? My last tweet from the Fez Memorial was me saying to Earl, the last tweet that I wrote, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, found one final picture from the Fez Memorial. Me and Earl Dougie. It was a black and white photo, and then I wrote,
Well, you said
I
it was
love
you and
this
Earl.
guy. No, but that was the last tweet I put out there in the thing. It was a black and white photo of me and Earl saying, me and Earl Dougie love this guy.
And you know what Earl did with that picture? He took it, balled it up, and wiped his ass.
So I hope we're all good. But if we're not good, Earl, and you want some smoke, then you fucking call me up, pal. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna.
Either way, if you want the smoke, let Dave on the
If
show.
you want the smoke, then actually call me and bring me into the studio, Earl.
Yeah, and when you're
that's the thing.
when you're using emojis, you may want to key the green a little better so there isn't a green edge around all the poo emojis in your videos. But that's just another
Interesting.
out of the goodness of my heart. I was passing that on.
But we're all good. The show is designed to look back fondly at my time on satellite radio. And so I believe we're back on the right track. And if we're not, Earl, you know where to find me, Daddy. You know where to find me, Daddy. You know where to find the Davey Mac, Earl Dougie. Any day of the week, brother.
Thank you for
Love
tuning in. Thank you for being a subscriber. We appreciate everything you guys do. You can head over to eastsidedavecountry.com to find all the podcasts like Dave does, like the Davey Mac Sports Program.
That's right.
The Eastside
Live
Dave.
at Morris Plains, New Jersey.
Yaddle Chattel with Jedi Jared
Star
and
Wars,
Darth
the
Dave.
fastest rising R-rated Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. Yaddle Chattel.
Eastside Dave and Son. Wrestling
Nationally
Cast.
syndicated on Beasley Media.
And
Morning Rat Race with Carl and Dave, WRAT 95.9 FM. Listen online at WRAT.com. #1 show in New Jersey for the last 8 years.
so that's where you find all that. You can subscribe to the Patreon to get this. And thank you for tuning in. This has been Davey Mac's Tales from this Satellite. We'll see you in about 2 weeks.